Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Is it morning? I guess it's still morning, right? I am going to be talking today about some strange things that are happening. Look, we're in a singularity right now. We are in the singularity, and everything is about to change at such a phenomenal rate. You won't know, you will not in 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe even a year. I predicted this was going to take 2 years, and it actually took a couple of months. But we will be in a situation very soon where we will not recognize the world. We will not recognize the world, guys. Now, there's a few technologies that are advancing at the moment, and I do think this has got... I think it's tied into this UAP, UFO phenomena that has gone mainstream. Now, an example quite a few people have given is North Sentinel Island, just off the coast of India, right? They are a tribe, and nobody goes on that island, and they're just a tribe, and they don't know they don't know about technology, they don't know anything. Flights aren't allowed to go over. Now, if you saw the people on North Sentinel Island starting smelting steel together, and they're building an airplane, right? You would think, oh, right, okay, those people on North Sentinel Island, we're ready to go and talk to them, because they're an part of their evolution now, where they have advanced into a direction of travel where we can understand them, and they will be able to understand us. So what I'm going to do in this live stream, guys, I'm going to talk about the singularity, what it means, why I think that could be a trigger for UFO contact, first contact. And then that's going to be like the first little bit of this live stream. And then I'm going to, excuse me. And then I'm going to talk back to, I'm going to talk about Project Bluebeam. Now, the reason I'm going to do this is because there's a really good video. Some people talk about Project Bluebeam. Some people don't know what it is. There's a really good video I found. It's like 4 minutes long from the Y-Files. So what I'll do after I've talked about the singularity, I will we'll share that video. We'll go through it together. I'll stop it at various points, and I will give commentary on what I think that means now. Because if Project Bluebeam is real, and what they're saying is real, and the theory is correct, then you can kind of see the seeds of that already. So look, guys, let me be clear before we get onto this, right? What we know and what is fact and what nobody can deny is talk about UFOs, aliens, UAPs, alternate dimensions. All that stuff is now out in the mainstream. I watched the Pierce Brosnan. Maybe it should have been. Look, AI could have changed that to be Pierce Brosnan. I watched the Piers Morgan interview yesterday with that guy, Jeremy Corbell. It's phenomenal now how this has taken a mainstream direction. So let me just get into this, guys, and start talking, because a singularity is, or technological singularity, refers to a hypothetical future point that I believe we're in right now, when technological progress, especially driven by AI, accelerates so dramatically and uncontrollably, it transforms human civilization in ways that we cannot fully predict or comprehend. And just for context, Elon Musk's Grok has just signed a contract with the US Department of Defense to run their systems. Yeah, I'm not making that up, guys. Anybody who's been watching my channel for a while, I've been saying, maybe not enough people watched The Terminator as a child. I watched that when I was far too young, and it stuck with me, and it terrifies me. AI, robots, it all terrifies me, guys, but that has really happened. So Elon Musk's AI, or XAI, what it's called, they are reportedly signing a contract with the US Department or Defense Department, I guess, or the Pentagon, whatever it is, to run their systems. Now, I don't know how you guys feel about that. I think maybe these guys just didn't watch The Terminator, right? So if you guys picture this with AI, it's very easy to picture with AI because I've done it before. I had the video of Will Smith. I think Will Smith eating pasta like 18 months ago, generated by AI, and then Will Smith eating pasta like recently, worlds apart. I said last year that it's going to take 1 or maybe 2 years before you cannot tell the difference between real world images and AI. I think we're there already. And when this technology advances, it's going to change everything. Like your whole world is going to change. And that's why I think if these UFOs are real, if they're real aliens, that's why I think they're going to want to make contact with us now. So if you imagine that technology improves at an exponential rate, imagine how AI models are leaping forwards. People argue that once we create artificial intelligence smarter than humans, often called super intelligence or artificial general intelligence, that surpasses us across the board, that AI won't just stop there. It will rapidly improve itself, designing better versions of itself, which then design better versions of itself. And this will happen within a matter of, it will be exponential. The curve will be slow and then it will just scream up. At the moment, the pace of change becomes, the pace of change becomes so fast and profound that our current models of society, economics, biology, physics, everything, what it really means to be human would break down, like crossing an event horizon, beyond which we can't forecast what the future is because the technology, artificial intelligence, is advancing too fast. Human history as we know it ends and something radically new begins. Some people see it as utopia, maybe, immortality through digitalization or whatever. And some people like me are warning of a dystopia or human extinction. Yes, I said it, guys, human extinction, because humans, if you start to have these brain implants, you no longer become humans, right? You're no longer a human. You're an AI. Think about it. Right now, well, I believe, right, and I'll come on to the Project Bluebeam in a minute. I believe I'm making my own decisions and my own choices, right? However, if I've got the AI chip in, I'm like, who's really making those decisions? Again, these things are going to be sold as good. I'm just being cautious, guys. And I just want, that's where we are right now. So there's two technologies. One of them, I mean, you guys are going to know what the first one is, artificial intelligence. And the next technology that's coming on board is life extension. Yes, I said it, like human life extension. I think if you can hold out for the next 20, 30 years, I think you're going to live for I think you're going to be immortal. Yep, I said it. That technology is rapidly advancing. And with the advancements in artificial intelligence, it's only going to advance quicker. Yes, humans can live forever, guys. There is no physical reasons why our cells degrade over time. There's no physical reason for that. None. Zero. We're not like cars that wear out. We regenerate, right? We constantly regenerate our cells. And it's the oxidization. It's the oxidization of those cells why we age. Anyway, right. Let me jump onto this video, guys. I want to talk about Project Bluebeam. So I don't know what's coming. I don't know what 50-50, right? We are either looking at a real life, real world alien disclosure. And if it is, then you guys know my dark theory. All the information I'm getting about that is we are heading to a dark place, right? I'm talking human harvesting. Yep, I am. I'm talking human harvesting. But let's not go down that road, guys, okay? Let's go down the Project Bluebeam. Let's go down Project Bluebeam, okay? So, where is it? This one, maybe? Yeah, right. So I'm going to share this with you guys. This is Project Bluebeam.
I say into because...
So this is from the Y files, okay? What I'm going to do is, this gives a good rundown on Project Bluebeam, what it is. And what I'm going to do is, I've watched this video. I'm going to stop this quite a few points, and we're going to talk about some of the things I think his name's AJ's talking about. Because if Project Bluebeam is real, I don't know if it is. If Project Bluebeam is real, then we can see these, we can see these breadcrumbs, right?
Big space show in the sky. He discovered that NASA and a few intelligence agencies developed the technology to project 3D holographic images into the sky. I say into because the system uses a combination of satellites and ground-based systems to manipulate the ionosphere. You don't need a screen. Images can be projected onto the particles in the atmosphere.
Okay, so we've seen this, right? The emergence of laser technology. So we all know lasers are there to shoot down drones, right? But that same technology, like I had one in here. You know the laser projector, right? The laser projectors that you guys can get. You can either have a concentrated beam on that laser, right? Or you can put like a little filter. You guys have seen those laser pens, right? It's the same principle. So all the governments are spending millions and billions on lasers to take laser beams to take down drones, right? That very same technology can be used to project things into the sky. You've all had, I'm pretty sure everybody on that's like watching this right now will have had a laser pen, and you screw different filters on the end and it gives like a different pattern. Like I remember having a Halloween one and there was like a witch and then like a cat and like a moon. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? That's the same technology. Now, obviously at government level, if there are these secret underground labs, they will be developing that at a more sophisticated level. But essentially, it's the same technology. Also, I think, and I'm pretty convinced, that someone's manipulating the cloud cover, all right? For some reason, here in the United Kingdom, and I've never known this before, we have months and months and months of this cloud cover, and it just seems to be at the same level. Wouldn't that be a perfect, like, casting board?
The projections will appear so lifelike that people will believe they are witnessing a miracle. The dominant god of each region will appear in the sky. Imagine
I wonder what god's going to appear in the United Kingdom.
looking up and seeing Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, all speaking to their followers in their own language. Their god will tell them their beliefs are all wrong, then will slowly morph into a new god. This is the first appearance of the new Messiah, God of the New World Order.
The projections of Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Krishna will merge into one, and explanations of mysteries and revelations will be disclosed. This one God will, in fact, be the Antichrist, who will explain that the various scriptures have been misunderstood and misinterpreted, and that the religions of old are responsible for turning brother against brother.
So, if you guys think that this can't happen, I was walking. It was like a couple of Halloweens ago. I was out walking with my daughter, and it was the low cloud cover again, and so it was the low cloud cover again, and we saw something moving in the sky, and it was doing very irregular movements, and we stopped. We went down onto one knee, and it looked from the ground. It looked like it looked like there was a craft with an ominous glow projecting downwards, and it was moving so fast in the sky. Anyway, so my daughter's terrified. She's saying, "Daddy, what is it? Is it aliens?" And I said, I don't know. Just let me think. And I was looking, and it took me a while to figure out what it was, right? And we were both, my daughter was terrified. I was confused. I was trying to figure it out, right? But I was not discarding UFOs or aliens or a spiritual context of that. What it actually was, it was around about Halloween time, and somebody had one of those projectors that projects things onto their house. And as we were walking, and as it was moving up, we were getting some of the projection because the cloud base was so low down. So it had but what I'm getting at here is, if these things happen, a lot of people will be taken for this.
And nation against nation. Therefore, old religions must be abolished to make way for the new age, new world religion. representing the one God Antichrist they see before them.
Debunking old religions will be enough to convert some people to this new one. Giant deities appearing and then converging into one Antichrist will convert a lot more. But these technologies won't work on everybody. Non-religious people will be terrified for sure, but they won't suddenly believe in a God based on a hologram, no matter how real it looks. The Shadow Masters know that. The Shadow Masters know that to create a one-world government and single religion, they need 100% of the population to believe. But you can't force a religious belief on somebody. They need to make the decision themselves, or at least be convinced they made it. The elites know this. That brings us to step 3. If you're not convinced by what you see, they'll use technology to broadcast the message directly into your brain. You may not realize it, but this technology is being used on you right now.
Right. I'm convinced. Let me get this. Something. Hang on.
When the new God appears.
Okay. I'm pretty much convinced something is happening like this anyway. Some days, the mood that people are in collectively, locally, it's phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. How people feel the same from region to region. Now, you could give this a lot of, you could go down lots of conspiracies on this. I don't know. But I'm pretty much like, there's definitely something happening. I don't usually get like down, but some days I just feel absolutely down and bogged down. And I know that that's not me. I know that that's not me. And I can't shake this feeling, because I know that, I used to use, if anybody's used hemisphere synchronization, it's where you play different tones in your ears. So in this ear, you might have a tone going, and in this here, you'll have a slightly different tone going, and what that does is it causes a vibration in your brain, and it activates a certain part of your brain. Now, this technology is 1970s technology. You guys can go and there's actually videos you guys can watch on YouTube where it'll give you the same thing. Now, that can activate via, vibrations, a certain part of your brain. Now, that was 1970s technology. Where's that? Well, that was released in the 70s, so I don't know how old that technology is. You could say this goes back to Buddha, when they're all meditating in the churches and stuff, or the temples. So in the last 50 years since that's been released, where's that technology advanced? We know that the Americans use the discombobulator, right? The decombobulator, or what's it called? So what is that? You can see the footprints of this technology all around you.
Ears in step 2, you'll hear him speaking whether you believe in him or not. And you won't be able to escape his voice because you're not hearing it through your ears. His voice is coming from your mind. The third step of Project Bluebeam is mind control. They'll use electromagnetic waves to interfere with brain function. They can shape perceptions, create emotions, and influence beliefs.
The third step in the Bluebeam project uses electronically augmented two-way communication, where ELF, VLF, and LF waves will reach each person from within his or her own mind, convincing each of them that their own God is speaking to them from the very depths of their own soul. Such rays from satellites are fed from the memories of computers that have stored massive data about every human on Earth and their languages.
Okay, so when I watched this bit about the satellites, I don't know how old this video is, guys. The first thing I thought of is, right, what's Elon Musk's, go on, space, Starlink. Like, the Starlink satellites? Like, that's the first thing I thought of. I thought, right, okay, so now we've got Starlink in the sky, going over everyone. Thousands of satellites have been released. Like, has that got something to do with it? All the 5G towers that have been put up real quick, has that got something to do with it? Because as you're going to see in a minute, well, I'll let the video play.
The rays will then interlace with their natural thinking to form what we call diffuse artificial thought. That kind of technology goes
Has anyone seen these get shot up real quick? And, you know, for those people who took the medication, you know, there's like graphene and stuff in there. So, like, how are those being affected by this stuff?
into the 1970s, 1980s, and 1990s research where the human brain has been compared to a computer. Information is fed in, processed, integrated, and then a response is formulated and acted upon.
We know for a fact that the U.S. military and intelligence have experimented with mind control. We know they used sound waves in the Vietnam War to make the enemy anxious without knowing why. The CIA used these and all kinds of other methods to scramble people's brains and program them to be sleeper agents.
Link down in the breadbasket, Chief.
We love Hecklefish. We love Hecklefish.
The government uses EM waves for all kinds of dark purposes. They've patented a device that can trigger emotions in a target from a half-mile away. But what's really scary about the patent is that it claims it can piggyback its signal onto any...
Okay, right. So, look, guys, you've got to take this with a pinch of salt. I don't know if this is true or not. This is a US patent. I can't find it. I looked. I couldn't find the number. But what they're saying there is this signal, and what they said is they could make people feel any emotion from half a mile away, right? How many 5G towers have been put up? Do you think right now you are half a mile away from a 5G tower? I know we are. I know you know, I definitely know that we are less than half a mile away from a 5G tower. Now, what I said to you guys about the hemisphere synchronization, you guys can go and check this out. Okay, Hemisync. It was done by, it was started by Robert Monroe in the Monroe Institute. I can't remember where they were based in the United States. They were based in, I don't know where they were, in the United States, basically. They developed this system where two signals in your brain, you know, can absolutely 100%, because I've done it, right? I've done it. I did the Gates of Hades. Go and Google the Gates of Hades iDozer. Fucking terrifying, guys. All right, the scaredest I've ever been. All right, the Gates of Hades. I just felt this evil presence on me, and it was in my brain. And I've experienced this in real time. All right, this is 1970s technology. So as this guy, you know, as this patent is allegedly saying, these techniques and these radio waves will be inaudible to the listeners. So let's go back to what I said earlier about, you know, people just feeling down and anxious, and, you know, it's not
frequency. That would mean we can never escape it. Everything that uses electricity has an electromagnetic field. Think you're safe living off the grid? Nope. Radio signals can bounce off the ionosphere and reach anywhere in the world.
Starlink, sorry.
The fourth and final stage of Project Bluebeam is the most sinister. Serge Manasse predicts a universal supernatural manifestation with electronic means. In other words, an alien invasion. The elites will promise to unite and defend the world against our common enemy. But to do that, they'll need emergency power. But it's only temporary, so we won't resist authority. We'll beg for it.
So there you are, guys. That's Project Bluebeam, basically. I know a lot of you guys, when I'm talking about this, you know, they quote and throw things out there about Project Bluebeam. And, you know, I just thought I wanted to jump on here because that was a really good video. But when you look at this and you start to think and you unpack, right, okay, if there is something as Project Bluebeam, and if Project Bluebeam is real, and if they're going to, I don't know, beam down a load of stuff and do this whole fake whatever, then they would need to put things in place now, right? They would absolutely need to have things in place now, like a way to convince everyone. So they'd need to have the laser technology, right? Tick. Absolutely. Tick in the box, laser technology. Tickety tick tick. They would need to have a way to alter people's emotions, all right? You know, and I know this works. Let me just Google this. iDozer. Gates of Hades. Give me a second. Right, yeah. Just Google it, guys. Hang on, let me write. What is? Idosa Gates of Hades is a controversial 23. You know, I'll share this with you. And this absolutely works, guys. 1,000,000% this works. So what are you talking about, Sean? Idosa Gates of Hades is a controversial 23-minute binaural beat audio track designed to stimulate intense, often negative or psychological or emotional states. It uses layered, jarring drone sounds meant to be heard with headphones to induce altered states. Guys, I did that, and I promise you, I've never been as scared in my life. Never been as scared in my life. Absolutely terrifying. It doesn't work to everyone. It doesn't work for everyone. But it absolutely worked on me. I don't know whether I was fasting at the time and I'd not eaten for a few days. So we know this works, right? We know the technology is there. We know the technology works. So ticking that box. So we've got lasers. So all these footsteps, all these breadcrumbs are there laid out in front of us. Literally every breadcrumb that leads to Project Bluebeam is laid out in front of us. We are absolutely living through a singularity right now. And the singularity is going to come. It's going to happen quick and nobody's going to see it coming. Right, guys, let me jump down and get some comments on that. Crosshatch is saying in Scotland, every night for the last week, I've seen a long strip light looking planes, or maybe not, but way higher than a normal jet height. Whereabouts in Scotland are you? The Watchman is saying blue beam is a bit naff, to be honest. It's not going to fool most folk, as most folk already know about it. The Watchman, I agree. I absolutely agree with you. Maybe it's not going to be a full-scale Project Bluebeam, or maybe Project Bluebeam has changed. You know, to a, for example, like, do we really need to have the mass religious awakening, you know, or reckoning? You know, do we really have to have that mass religious reckoning? And with the advances in artificial intelligence, like, honestly, like the advances in artificial intelligence are just changing they're changing the world like so fast. Now, if we start to see images, right, on the TV, if Donald Trump, right, or, I mean, he's the world leader, right? Do you know what? Let's just say Trump, Xi Jinping, and Putin, who else? And me. No, probably not me. They all come out and they say, we are having an emergency world meeting, right? Let's just go with that, right? Let's just say they have an emergency world meeting. And they're all stood there and they're saying, right, okay, unanimously, we all agree that aliens are on their way and they've got hostile intent. And they show images, right? They show documentation. They show trajectories. How many people are going to fall for that? Look, guys, and let me be quite clear. I don't know if this is going to be true or not. What I do think, though, is it is coming. And I don't know whether it's true or not. Now, it's not going to matter, is it? Excuse me. Whether it's real or whether it's fake will not matter, because the outcome will be the same. Whether it's a real alien invasion with real, like, you know, probers smelling of ammonia on their way, or whether it's a fake one, because the outcome is going to be the same. The reaction from the government and the reaction from the people is going to be the same. And it's other people that I would say are the main threat. Other people will go crackers and bonkers, guys. They really will. Running Bear is saying, who still watches TV? I haven't watched it in over 5 years. Do you know what? I think like a week ago, maybe, or 2 weeks ago, we put a TV in our front room, and we've not had a TV for years. And you know, the only thing I watch on the TV, it's quite a big TV, and I have those. I go onto YouTube and I have those like cyberpunk ambience. I don't know if you guys. I just have it as like a big screensaver, really. So yeah, I don't watch TV. Wood, stone, and steel. What fantastic! What wood, stone, and steel? Do you make things out of wood, stone, and steel? I'd be very intrigued. They're going for world communism and total surveillance. Well, interestingly enough, that's why. Let me share this quick, guys. That's why Elon Musk's company. Let me share this. So Musk's XAI and Pentagon reached deal to use Grok in classified systems. So listen, all right? Has anybody watched The Terminator? Is anybody like, you know, are we all making this connection right now? Now, it goes on because it's a little bit darker than that. Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company, XAI, has signed an agreement to allow the military to use its model, Grok, in classified systems on a defense official confirms why it matters. Now, up to now, another company called Anthropic, their AI model called Claude, has been the only model available in the systems which the military is most sensitive in, do the military's most sensitive work, which is weapons development, battlefield operations. But the Pentagon is threatening Anthropic in a dispute over safeguards and may soon need a replacement. What are you thinking? So right now, how that's worded, what are you guys thinking the safeguards are? Like, you're thinking right now that the AI that they're using right now isn't safe enough, right? No, turns out it's the opposite. So Anthropic, the current company that the US military use for, like, honestly, you couldn't make this Skynet stuff. So Anthropic has refused the Pentagon's demand that they make Claude available for all lawful purposes, insisting in particular on blocking its use for the mass surveillance of Americans and the development of fully autonomous weapons. So it seems to me from this article that Anthropic are saying, yeah, we're not going to let you use our AI for mass surveillance on Americans and the development of fully autonomous weapons. However, XAI, Elon Musk, he agreed that all lawful use standard has been reported to, first for the New York Times, reported and has reportedly signed a deal. So, you know, that to me absolutely terrifies me. So yes, I do think total surveillance and control as well. Total surveillance and control. War Melon is saying, fight back against the aliens, sure, but keep it legal, Sean. Yeah, we've got to keep it legal, guys. Like, listen, I gave you guys a scenario earlier, right? Can you imagine? Like, listen, I live in the United Kingdom, right? And I don't want to get sent to prison. So everything needs to be legal, right? So if the aliens come, right? If the aliens come, we need to find out from Keir Starmer what the intergalactic law says. Like, if an alien comes down, right, and it lands in my garden, right, am I allowed to attack it? Like, under what circumstances would we be allowed to attack an alien if it came in? Like, if an alien lands in your garden, right, and it's grabbed your children and it's running off, you know, it's got a child under each arm and it's running off, like, are you allowed to follow it and attack it? Or will you be in jail for that? You know, will you be then in court and you have to return and, you know, no, it was part of my culture to steal these two children. I just wanted to suck their blood. Ah, well, you know, we've got to be very culturally aware with these aliens. when you say that, it sounds so ridiculous, right? But I'm not, I'm not holding anything back. I gave the example like earlier on today. Remember in the movie Independence Day when Will Smith whacks the alien and he says like, welcome to Earth. I'm saying that if that happened in the United Kingdom and that was an RAF pilot and he took down that alien and attacked, this is how the media would spin this. This is how the media would spin this. Right-wing RAF pilot attacks surrendering asylum seeker. Right-wing RAF pilot attacks surrendering intergalactic asylum seeker. That's what, and then that guy then would be up, the RAF, he'd be like, mate, are you winding me up? I was having like a gunfight with like aliens and shit and like a punch. Yeah, well, that's 31 months in jail. Then the alien would be stood there who's like killed loads of people. He'd be like, right, for you just get off with a caution. War Milan is saying Will Smith was using reasonable force, reasonable and proportionate force. Right, listen, guys, I am going to, have I got anything else to share with you? Right, I've got, I'll do that later, actually. Right, listen, guys, I'm going to start to close this down now. I just wanted to give this as a little bit of an update about this, about some of the stuff that's happening. I wanted to give a little bit more of a talk on Project Bluebeam because lots of people mention Project Bluebeam. They talk about it, but, I just wanted to throw it out there. And it was a really good video, I thought, and it well explained. It really articulated Project Bluebeam and the phases of it. And I just wanted to show, say, look, I'm actually seeing the breadcrumbs of this. But right, I am going to close this down now, guys. I am. I'll be back on later today with another video. But if I'm not, for whatever reason, I'll be back on tonight at 8. Trevor is saying, what if the aliens want to destroy anybody who believes in their prophet? Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Maybe the aliens are from there. Right, I'm going to close this down, guys. If you've not done so already, please hit those buttons below. We are in the Singularity. And do you know what? I'm going to change that to Shadow Masters. Give me a second. I'm going to change that to Shadow Masters. Shadow Masters. Have I got enough space? I think I have. Shadow. Oh, right, I have. Right, if I take that out, that and that, then I can do that. Shadow Masters. Oh, I've got another. I'll put full stop. Yes. Shadow Masters. Right. Shadow chat. Right. I'll do that. Because AJ in that video, he did call them Shadow Masters. Anyway, guys, I will see you later. Don't get caught by aliens and definitely do not get probed. Nobody needs a probing on a Wednesday, guys.